Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Matt wasn't lying. My debut was the last show. Super excited. But Matt said it was like you would think of reminding yourself, this is, remember where you were when this happened. And he equated it to things like the Kennedy assassination and when man first landed on the moon. And to be fair, I don't think anybody in the crowd last time was old enough for any of those things, except for maybe Matt's parents and his older brother Dave. So, yeah. Happy belated Dave. But Matt's great. He does a great job presenting, putting this thing together. And you might think by looking at him, the glasses, the nerdy glasses, are just part of his shtick. It's part of his routine. No, it's not part of it. That's who he is. And last time he was up here, he really took, he beats himself down. He criticizes his legs, calling them chicken legs, and really says that he gets terrible legs. But I disagree. I think he has nice legs. Gets them from his mom, as he said. It's really everything from the waist up that is a problem for that. That's okay. But Matt is awesome. I take a lot of inspiration from him and his family to do this, to come out another time. It's a great time in Omaha right now, College World Series. Really, a lot of people driving around from out of town. Great way to start off Father's Day weekend. For me, I love being a dad. Matt talks about, Matt and Tony will probably talk about their families, but I love being a dad. I love my kids. I love the immediate time you get a chance to mold, teach, model, share experiences, and really keep them out of harm's way and from country music. It's awful. It's really it's awful. But really for my kids, it's about teaching them to get over their fears. And I can remember this one time when they were little, we'd put them to bed, we'd said stories, and we said our prayers, and I walked out. And not too long after, I heard a, "Daddy, yeah, there's a noise outside our window." Okay, so I walk them back into their room, tuck them back in, and I told them, I said, there's really nothing to be afraid of. That's just the banshee outside your window. It's a low-level spirit. It won't harm you at all. I love you. Good night. And then I left the room, and it's pretty mean. So I went back in and I said, guys, there's no banshee. There's just kidding. But there is a monster under your bed. And as long as you stay in your bed, it won't harm you. Good night. Love you. Bye. I walked out. And then I walked back in and I said, I'm sorry, there's no monster under your bed. It's just a joke. But there is a boogeyman or men in your closet. So if you just stay in your bed, don't get out, it'll be fine. I left. And of course this continued on. I went back in there for one last time and I said, there's no boogeyman. There's no boogeyman. That's probably the hamster that we can't find in the closet. We don't even have a hamster, but there's a hamster in there. And it'll come out sometime, or it'll come out of the closet like your Uncle Stu did. But there's no boogeyman. There is a ghost up in the attic, and it'll leave you alone. So I left, and by that time they realized I was full of crap, and I wasn't coming back ever again. But beyond helping my kids challenge their fears, it's about nurturing, about love, and demonstrating all the things that my wife usually does. But I can pinch hit too. And speaking of pitching, when my kid was having a little trouble, getting things through, getting things to move, pitching, I stepped into the bathroom with him and I said, "You can do this, buddy." This is going to be fine. And I invent dance songs, but I go back to the 80s and resurrect great rap songs from Salt and Pepper and start singing to them. Push it good. And he did, and he made it. But all these things, messing with my kids, it does come back to you as a father. And they know, I expect this from them. These conversations usually start out with something like, if they're playing and they come in from outside, they say, Dad, that's usually how the conversation starts. Dad, yeah, what is it? You remember that cheesecake that you made? It had that little crack in it. I said, oh yeah, I remember that. But it was pretty good cheesecake. Yeah, it sure was. So we were riding our bikes, and little brother ran himself into a mailbox, and he's got one of those little cracks in his face. And so these are the things that they say to me. Another conversation starts on, Dad, yeah, what is it? You remember when we went to that wonderful wedding and they had that chocolate fountain with you could put marshmallows and stuff in there? Yeah, I remember the chocolate fountain. It was pretty awesome. Yeah, so that's coming. We have one of those in our toilet upstairs, and yeah, so oh God, my kids, so they throw it back at me. I love them dearly, and they're a lot of fun. They also like to tell me how old I am. And I don't mind getting old. We're kind of all in this situation, but I don't love the gray hair. I don't love the hair that I used to have hair. I don't love the hair that I now have that I wish I didn't have, the ear, nose, and back hair that Matt talked about. I'm glad that I can give a solid 6, whatever you said. But anyway, I digress. Some people at work might see this recording afterwards. But what I don't like is how I actually am considering all these insurance commercials, what they're selling us on TV. Like, I really am worried about Mayhem now, and I might need a good neighbor. Like, my neighbors give me a free beer and shovel my walk occasionally, but I might need something else. And if I just took 15 minutes, I really could save up to 15% if I bundled and saved my auto and home insurance, all of that. But getting old, there's one thing that I am really happy about, and I'm not ashamed of it. Guys of my age, we get nervous about it. Sometimes we don't want to admit it. These things happen when you get older. And quite honestly, I'm not afraid to admit that I love and am fascinated with birds. As I've gotten older. And I'll tell you, I don't know how and when it happened. I know when it happened, so I'll tell you. My wife and I were out swinging on the porch. For the love of God, we're like respectable people. We were porch swinging. We're on the porch, swinging, enjoying a nice evening such as this, and a Cooper's hawk swoops in, chasing another bird, and there are other birds eating a nice little snack on the lawn. And it was amazing. I started tracking birds on my Autobahn app. I love it. Does anybody have the Autobahn? You should check it out. Yeah, and so it's awesome. Getting older, I love birds. I'm not afraid to admit it. The only thing that I really that I don't love about birds is they kind of make a mess from time to time. And I missed part of my routine. I missed a joke, but I'll tell you, I'm gonna back up to that. I'm gonna say, so you're looking at me and thinking, if you don't know who I am, you think, God, I know this guy from somewhere, and he looks really familiar. And I'll back up to that because I missed that joke from the start, and this is part of being the second time out here. But I will share with you my Mr. Clean. I've got some of my magic erasers here that I can share with everybody. This is me, and it is I really am the man behind the shine. Most of the time it's dry, sometimes sweat. But this is sending out my products. If you want to use some magic eraser, it also does help clean up bird poop. Thank you very much.